All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about arrays. So full disclosure, arrays are one of my favorite things to talk about. So my apologies ahead of time. I'm just kidding. Python does not have a built-in support for arrays, but Python lists can be used instead. So arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable. Very powerful and a terrific tool for programming, okay? An array is a special variable which can hold more than one value at a time. The length of an array, for the length of an array, use the Len method to return the length of an array, the number of elements in an array, okay? Looping array elements, you can use the for in loop to loop through all the elements of an array. Adding array elements, you can use the append method to add an element to an array. And removing array elements, you can use the pop method to remove an element from an array. So now comes the fun part. Let's go create a notebook for arrays and dive into the code. Okay, so I'm inside of the Jupyter notebook here, and what I want you to do is make sure you're in the correct directory. So we're in desktop and then Python basics, so 03 Python basics. That way you have all of the notebooks in one area and you know exactly where to go for that information, okay, for the examples. We're going to click on new and we're going to do Python 3 notebook, and we're going to label this, I believe 13, yes, 13, and then arrays. I have to make sure we're in order here. Okay, so we're going to do arrays. So let's talk about arrays. So like I said in the PowerPoint, Python does not have a built-in support for arrays, but you can use lists instead, okay, which is the same idea, okay? And I talked about arrays and how they're used to store multiple values in a single variable. So think of it like this. When you create a variable, you only have one data point, okay? One piece of data. With an array, you can do multiple pieces of data, but keep it in that array. So basically it's like this. It's like if you have a basket with a variable, you can only put one apple in that basket. With an array, I can go and I can grab an apple, I can grab an orange, I can grab a banana, and I can put all these different vegetables in the basket together. And then when I call that array, I can say, okay, I want apple. And then I call the array again and I want orange. And then the third time I call it, I want the banana. So that's how you do it. So let's create an array. Okay, so we're going to do fruit equals, with a bracket here, and in quotes, we're going to do apple, orange, in quotes, I can spell, and then banana. Okay, so B-A-N-A-N-A. There we go, banana. Now when I run this, I get nothing because I didn't print anything. So let's print fruit. Okay. There you go. So we got apple, orange, banana. Okay. Now let's look at a couple other things that we can do with the value of our array. So if I do this again, but we type it here and we do fruits, okay, or we'll just do fruit and then we'll do 0 equals banana, okay? And then I print that, print fruit, okay, and then run that, we get banana, orange, and banana. But if I do fruits, okay, and then fruits here, and then I run that, we get an error, but that's because what it's doing is let's do Bob, and let's do, instead of print that, we're going to print 0. Okay, so when I print that, okay, we can go like this, put in the brackets and do 0, and then run that, and it's not going to let me do that. So so you can modify the value of the first array item. Okay, so basically what you can do is we can take this example here, okay, and what I can do is I can do fruit equals, not even, in brackets, we do 0, and that equals, let's think of a fruit here off the top of my head, grapes. Okay, so what I'm doing, and when I print this, okay, when I print fruit, okay, I'm having trouble spelling, give me a break. Now you see what happens here, okay? I'm going to delete this cell. Let's just do this. Let's see. Insert. Let's see if I can delete this one. There we go. All right. That way it's cleaner. Sorry about that. So here's what happened when I did that. I changed the value of 0. So the thing you need to understand about arrays is it doesn't start from 1. It starts from 0. So when you call 0, it's the very first array on there. So the list, think of it as a list. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Well, really, you have 10 items, but if it starts at 0, you really have 9. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But you have 10 items. The idea behind that is 0 is the index or the very first number, okay? So you can go back to that and you can set that at whatever you want. That's just how they have it set up. So that's what we roll with. But if I do fruit 0 equals grapes, I can also do fruit 1 equals, instead of orange or apple or banana or grapes, we could do kiwi. And guess which one that's going to replace. So here's the question. Is it going to replace apple, orange, or banana? Kiwi. Since I'm using the number 1, okay? Now, normally we would think it would be apple, but since I did 0 and apple was replaced by grapes, then orange is going to be replaced by kiwi. So let's print that and see what happens. There you go. So we have grapes, kiwi, and banana, okay? There you go. Now, the other thing we can do with these is you can add them to the end. So we have 0, 1, 2. So if I do 3 and I do 4, guess what's going to happen? It won't let me do it because I'm not using a method. Okay, I'm just breaking the code by doing it this way. So I'm going to undo that. Okay, and we'll run it again. And what you would do if you wanted to do that, you would just add it to the end of here. So you'd do grapes, and then you would do kiwi. And what that will do is then when we print this, we're going to have all the different fruits. Okay, so I'm just going to run once. So we have apple, orange, banana, grapes, kiwi. Okay. Now let's dive into the fun part of this, which is methods. But before we do that, let's talk about the length of an array. Okay, so to check out the length of an array, use the Len method to return the length of an array, the number of elements in an array. So what does that mean? Okay, well, let's test it out and see what exactly they're talking about with this. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to tell you how many elements you have in your array. So for this example, how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I run this command, we're going to do x equals length fruit. Okay, and then we're going to print x. Okay, so we'll print x, and let's not print fruit. Okay, so let's print x. We have 5. Okay, now if you wanted to print it below it, you could do print fruit. Okay, and there you go. So now we have apple, orange, banana, grapes, and kiwi. Okay, there you go. So that's how you check the length of an array. Now what we're going to do is let's talk about the looping array elements. So you can use the for in loop to loop through all the elements of an array. Okay, so for this example, we can print each item in the fruit array. Okay, so all the fruits that we have in there, we would just do this. For x in fruit. Okay, so let's do that. For x in fruit. Okay, and then we'll do colon, print x. Now, once we print that, so let's run that, we're going to get apple, orange, banana, grapes, and kiwi. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is adding array elements. Okay? So how do we do this? We run what? So with adding array elements, you can use the append method to add an element to an array. Okay, so let's do that. So the cool thing about this is, let's say you have hundreds or thousands of arrays and you don't want to just create a new array, you want to add or append an array to it. So how do you do that? Well, here's how you do it. So you can see here, if we just delete this code, okay, let's delete the code here. Okay, then we do fruit.append, okay, and it's going to be, let's do, what's another fruit I could do? Red banana. Okay, let's run it. Okay, now it's not going to show anything because we didn't print. So let's print fruit. Now run it. And now we have apple, orange, banana, grapes, kiwi, and red banana. Okay, now let's say we want to add more than one. Okay, let's do purple banana. Okay, and then I want to do red kiwi. Okay, now let's run that. Okay, so what happened? You can only, the append method can only take one argument. Okay, so we would have to do this 3 times, which is fine. So we just copy it and then paste it twice and then delete the ones that we don't want to add. So for this example, we want red banana for the first one. Then we want purple banana for the second one. Okay. And then for the third one, we want red kiwi. Now we run it and we got them all. So now we have apple, orange, banana, grapes, kiwi, red banana, purple banana, and red kiwi. Okay. So that's how you add an array element. Now let's remove an array element. So you can use the pop method to remove an element from an array. Okay. So let's do that. So let's do, so we have all this running, right? So let's do fruit.pop. Whoops. I gotta spell fruit right. .pop. And let's do, let's just pick a random number here. So let's do, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 arrays. So let's pick 5. Okay. And then say out loud, if you can figure it out, which one is number 5, because I know most of you are going to say kiwi, but it's actually what? Red banana. Okay, so let's run that and see if I'm right. Okay, I'm right, because red banana is gone. Okay, so there you go. So that's one way to remove an array. The other way to do it is you can use the remove method. Okay, which does the same exact thing. And I actually think that this is a better method to use only because it makes more sense. Because pop is kind of a random thing. You know, if you do fruit.remove and we do 78, we don't have 78, what's going to happen? Okay. Let's do 2 and then run that. Okay, so it threw an error. So let's get rid of fruit.pop5 and then run this and see exactly why it's doing that. Okay, so let's do fruit.remove and then let's do, got it. We have to write in the value. Okay, so apple. So the only good thing about pop is you just type in a number. Okay, so if you know the number, you can use that. Okay, so if it's not a lot of arrays, you're going to use a number. Okay, but if it's a gazillion arrays, let's say that you have like 1,000 arrays. Believe me, it's possible. You have 1,000 arrays and you know what the value is or the element is, you would just write it in and say, okay, it's apple, remove apple. Okay, that's easier to do. Okay, so that's the difference between remove and pop. I know I said, well, why would you use pop? Well, I just explained to you why. With pop, you use the number. With remove, you use the name, the value. okay? So there you go. So let's head over to the PowerPoint and talk some more about one of the best parts of this whole course is array methods, okay? Okay, so now let's talk about array methods. So Python has a set of built-in methods that you can use on lists or arrays, okay? So you have the following methods that we can use, okay? You can use append, which adds an element at the end of a list, clear, which removes all elements from the list, copy, which returns a copy of the list, count, which returns the number of elements with the specified value, extend, add the elements of a list or an interval to the end of the current list, returns the extend, adds the elements of a list, index, returns the index of the first element with a specified value, insert, adds an element at the specified position, pop, removes the element at the specified position, remove, removes the first item with the specified value. Okay, so pop and remove we talked about just a little while ago, and basically what that means is with pop, you write in the number, with remove, you write in the value. So if it was the example that we were using, you could write an apple and it'll remove that specified value, okay? Compared to the number where it's a specified position, going from 0 to however many arrays or elements we have, okay? Reverse the order of the list, and sorts the list, okay? So we're gonna run each one of these. We're gonna try them out and see how they work to get a better understanding of each one of them, okay? So like I said, when we go in and we work with that, so let's go into our notebook and take a look at this. All right, so we're back in our notebook here, and you remember that we have fruit equals and all these different fruits. So let's make a new one, a new block of code here, and I'm gonna delete this cell and also this one, okay? And what I wanna do is I wanna use the code that we already have. Okay, so we're gonna do fruits, and actually it's fruit.append, which we already used up there, okay? And this is just gonna be a review, and we're gonna remove apple, okay? So let's run that. And so now you can see apple's gone, right? So let's delete this cell, and we'll just keep this open. And so there you go. So that's append. Now the next one is clear. So what clear does is that removes all the elements from the list. Okay, so if I run fruit.clear, okay, and then we print fruit, what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. So let me get rid of this one, because all I want to do is I want to print with our updates. Okay, so we're gonna let's comment that out for right now. Then we'll run it, and so now we have nothing in there. Okay, and that's the idea. So if you needed to clear the list for whatever reason, you'd be able to do that. Copy, so returns a copy of the list. Okay, so with this, what we can do is we'll use X. Okay, so I'm going to comment this out. Okay, so we'll comment both of these out, so that way it doesn't interfere with what we're doing. And then you can just uncomment them when you want to use them. And we're going to do X equals fruit.copy and run that command or method. And we're going to run fruit or print fruit. Okay, so when I print this, we should get a copy of the list. Okay, so if I run it again, it returns a copy of the specified list. Okay, so it'll show you the list. So if you know what the name of the array is, okay, so let's say you have 20 arrays, okay, but you know exactly what the values of them are. So you have fruit, you have cars, you have whatever, okay? As long as you know what the name is, then you can call that list, and then you can see what are on those arrays and then use that data for whatever you're doing. Okay, that's the idea of it. Now let's do count. So with count, we can it returns the number of elements with a specified value. Okay, so with count, what I want to do is similar to what we did with the other ones, but we're going to comment these out. Okay, if it lets me here, because my computer is for some reason lagging, so I apologize for that. We'll do x equals fruit dot count, and then we'll do apple. Okay, and if I run that, we need to print fruit. Okay, and when I print that, we get orange, banana, grapes, kiwi, red banana, purple banana, and red kiwi. Okay, and it returns the number of times the value cherry appears in the fruits list. Okay, so apple is not appearing because it's been removed based on this. So if we comment all this out, okay, then it should work. So let's run it now. And now you see apple, orange, banana, grapes, and kiwi. Okay. So that's another method you can use. The other one we can do is we can extend. So add the element of a list or an interval to the end of the current list. Okay. So what we can do is we can add arrays to our list. So right now we have fruit. Okay. Now let's say I want to add OSs. So I'm just going to put OS equals, and we'll do Mac, in quotes, Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. Okay. It's a really weird list. So then what I want to do is I want to do fruit.extend to OS, okay, and then we're going to print fruit. And then we're going to comment out up here so it won't print this part, okay? So now when I run that, now we have apple, orange, banana, grapes, kiwi, Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. So basically what we did is we created two different arrays, and we added elements in each one, or data in each one, however you want to say it. So this is an array, this is an array, and we just added them so that we know we wanted to add OS to our fruit list, okay? So we did. So apple, orange, banana, grapes, kiwi, Mac OS, Windows, and Linux, okay? So that's kind of a cool thing to do. Now, the other one we can do here is index. So index returns the index of the first element with a specified value, okay? So the cool thing about this is you can return the value of whatever element you call. So for example, if we call orange, what would that return? Would it be 1 or would that be 0? Okay. So let's do that. So let's do x equals fruit.index, and then let's do Windows, capital W, Windows, and then run that. And then if I print x, and let's not do x, let's do a equals, and then let's print a, okay, because I already have x. And there you go. So we have 6. So here it's going to show, because again, we didn't comment this out, which that's what I want to do here. We're going to keep the extended though. Okay, so now I'll run it, and Windows is 6, okay? So if I uncomment out that, we have 1, 2, 3, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if I did 7, it would be Linux. If I did 5, it would be Mac OS, et cetera, et cetera. So whatever data point you're trying to reach, or whatever array you're trying to reach, you can do that by grabbing the right number, not even number, the value. You're giving it this value here and saying, okay, call Windows, okay? Call Linux. Grab this array, or this data, Windows, and then do the following with it, okay? It's a beautiful thing about arrays. Arrays are a lot of fun, okay? Then we have insert, so you can add an element at a specified location, which we've done that. Remove, we've also done that one. We've also done pop, okay? So the one I want to talk about is reverse and sort. So reverse is the order of the list, and sorts the list. Okay, so let's first do reverse, okay? So if I just do, if I click in here, okay, let's try this. There we go. So let's do fruit.reverse, okay, and then let's print fruit. Okay, and then let's run that. We got Linux, Windows, Mac OS, kiwi, grapes, banana, oranges, and apple, okay? Beautiful. Now, the other one I want to talk about is sort. So with sort, what we can do, the sort method sorts the list ascending by default. You can also make a function to decide the sorting criteria or criterias. Okay, so what we want to do is we're just going to run the sort method. Okay, so I'll go in here and we'll do fruit.sort. Okay, and then we're going to print fruit. And then you'll see what it does here. Okay, so we got sort. And if I do it again, let's see here. So let's run it again and see if it does something different. Nope, so it ran it the same way. So it did Linux, Windows, Apple, banana, grapes, kiwi, Mac OS, and orange. Okay, so that's just the default sort. Okay, so I print that, and then let's comment out these, so the only one we see is the last one. Okay, so then we run it again, and we have Linux, Windows, Apple, grapes, kiwi, Mac OS, and orange. Okay, so you can see with all these different methods that we ran, we get a different outcome than if we just stuck with the arrays the way that they are. And methods are a powerful tool for arrays, because you can manipulate them a lot of different ways, and it takes very little code to do it. So that's the cool thing about arrays. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.